Hello, I am Brad Arnold. I am the lead singer for Three Doors Down, and we are here in Fort Myers, Florida today.
And we were just talking about books because I just gave you one of my books there. And you were talking about a book. Go ahead and tell me. Go ahead and tell them what you were talking about.
Yeah, so I started this book yesterday, and I actually came to the book through an article that I was reading online from a picture that I seen on Instagram, and which led me to Google article and look it up. And the fellow had written a book, and so I figured it'd be a good book to read, and actually could be a good inspiration for a song for not having a voice. The book is called Ghost Boy, and it's written by the fellow that it happened to. But as a 12-year-old kid, he developed some kind of disease that and I'm only just starting the book, but he developed some kind of disease that medical science didn't know anything about, and he went into a coma for 12 years, and for I think the first 7 of those years he was completely not there. But then his mind became aware again. He could see, and he was completely alive inside a body that didn't function. So he could hear everything that was going on around him, but he couldn't communicate with the outside world. And he talks about just how he could count the time through. He memorized where the sun fell on the wall at very intricate times of the day, to things that people would discuss about him, around him, not knowing that he was aware, on to the fact that it put a tremendous strain on his family. And at one point his mom actually said, who took really good care of him, she wasn't just like neglectful, but at one point she's like, you have to die. And he heard all this. I mean, you can imagine being trapped inside a body that didn't function but being completely aware.
Yeah, actually, I can.
I just thought that it would be a good inspiration for a song, if nothing else.
Yeah. No, I had a cliff diving accident when I was 19. They told me I'd never walk again.
Dang.
And so I was like trapped under the water and could not move. Like, not even my fingers, nothing. In the New River Gorge in West Virginia. Don't go cliff diving.
No danger of me diving off.
So yeah, I can totally kind of relate to a story like that, actually. Have you ever had any like near-death experiences or anything like that?
I have not that lasted long enough to think about.
Yeah. Always a scary thing. Thing is, nobody's ever promised us tomorrow. That's the thing.
That's right.
You know, look at Prince. You know,
That's
that
right.
was kind of unexpected.
Nobody really wakes up thinking, today's going to be my last day.
Yeah. So, anyways, we should probably back up and do some of the like normal interview talk.
It's all good.
I love talking about books and stuff because I'm a writer, and I teach at the college here in Port Charlotte, just a little north of here. But
that's awesome.
Yeah, we've been having some fun stuff going on in class and stuff like that, so it's always fun to hear literature suggestions, you know what I mean?
Yeah, that's actually where I got into songwriting, was through writing poems. And a lot of that poem writing actually came from school. Like Kryptonite and a lot of our early songs, I wrote actually in my algebra class, but
Nice.
the class right before that was creative writing class. So it would kind of get my mind going, and I hated math. And so the creative writing class would kind of get my brain going in that direction, and I've never really been good at math anyway, but I was always pretty good at writing. And so the creative writing class would kind of get my brain going, and I'd go to lunch, and I'd come back to math class, and I would just sit there and write poems and lyrics all the time. That's where we're Kryptonite, Loser, and about half the songs on our first record.
Was there any poems in particular that inspired you as you were like going through your first like writing processes, or any authors, poets in particular that really stood out for you?
I guess not any that just in particular. Not really. I don't suppose. I mean, I know it's kind of cliche, but I always, as a teenager, as a young teenager, I always thought that Edgar Allan Poe wrote some pretty dark shit.
Yeah, I used to live in Baltimore because I went to Johns Hopkins University with my master's from writing.
That's awesome.
I definitely enjoy Poe very much, kind of a kinship there, living just blocks from where he had been. So.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's kind of neat. So I don't think that's cliche at all. I think it's awesome. So getting to your writing, what do you have coming up that you're looking forward to this summer? And I'm going to ask you a little more about your writing in just a minute.
Yeah.
But
Well, we
let's
have
see
a-
what you got going on.
We have a whole lot of touring coming up this summer, a lot of these festivals and different shows of our own. And later on this fall, we're going to be going over to Europe for 3 weeks or a month, and just a whole lot of touring. We just had a record come out March the 11th, so that's our first record in 5 years. So we're looking forward to getting out here and playing. You know, I always kind of look at writing, getting in the studio as kind of building your toy, and then going out and playing those songs like getting to play with your toy.
Yeah. Now, with your personal writing style, what comes first for you in the writing process? Is it guitars, drums, bass, something else entirely, chorus? And having taken years off, has that writing process changed at all? Have you played with any people who may have influenced your writing process?
Well, you know, we don't really have a set way, I suppose, of writing a song as a whole. Most of the time, music will come first, and I'll go back and put lyrics to it. And sometimes we'll write lyrics first, but most of the time the music comes first. And I kind of prefer that because it contains where you're headed with your writing in a way. And I know that kind of sounds strange, but you know, if you write lyrics first, you can write anything, and that's great. But on the other side of that, you can write anything, and it's just like, well, where do I go? You know, it's just like there's no direction at all. And sometimes for me, the hardest thing about writing is finding something to write about. The easiest songs to me sometimes wind up being the best songs. They're the songs that you almost can't write them down fast enough, you know? Some of our biggest songs, Kryptonite, Here Without You, When I'm Gone, they were lyrics that I wrote down in 15 minutes, you know? And some other songs, you know, they might take you days to write down or work them into a set of music or things like that. It seems to me that sometimes when you have to sit there and just like really think about it, they just don't come out as good, you know? And I think any writer would agree with that. You know, when you really have something on your mind that you want to express, it's going to be more descriptive, it's going to be more identifiable, and it's just going to wind up being better.
Yeah. I mean, I write books, so it's a little bit different, but I know when I come to that point, sometimes I just have to stand up and just walk away from a project. And some of the stuff that I think will take the shortest amount of time winds up taking the longest.
Yeah.
Just because sometimes you just have to get up, walk away, get that breath of fresh air. For me, I like doing photography, do something like totally different besides the writing process.
Absolutely.
And then just come back to it with like fresh eyes.
Absolutely.
You know?
Yeah, for me, it's almost impossible for me to sit down in a studio and write a song. I write lyrics in a flower bed or outside working at my farm or something, you know what I mean? It's like something completely dissociated with songwriting is where I'll come up with lyrics. Something will just pop in my head, and I've always said that, you know, I can't sit down and write a song. It's just occasionally one will fall out of the sky. You know?
No, I totally understand that. I've gotten weird inspiration from places. What's that? Oh, they're giving us the sign. Uh-oh. So, I guess since we've taken so much time talking about writing and stuff like that, is there anything we have not talked about that you want to make sure you talk about? Things you have going on right now, the new album, what it's like to come back after such a break, things of that nature, anything other creative projects you might have worked on that break time?
Yeah, that's about it right now. When I'm not doing songs, I pretty much, my wife barrel races horses, so I take care of horses and take care of all my
Where's your
animals.
accent from?
I'm from South Mississippi, but I live in Nashville, Tennessee.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I'm just out here enjoying playing some music and looking forward to a lot of touring this summer. And just like to say thank you to all the fans for listening, and thank you for all the support for all these years. And it's been a blessing to us.
Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Awesome.
Have fun up there on stage tonight and on the rest of the tour, okay?
Thank you. Thank you for the book.
No problem. Have a good one.
Absolutely.